Hey everyone, it's Brett from Hope to Prosper. I'm coming to you today from the San Clemente Pier. I'm here with my wife and my sister, just gonna take a little walk. Crowded today, crazy. For a Monday, it's packed. I guess it's the middle of summer. Anyways, today's subject is the 5 things that I wish I knew before I retired. Alright, hope you enjoy it. Anyone who's followed my channel for a while probably knows I got off to a rocky start on retirement. In fact, it was a real rocky start. I made a last-minute decision to ditch the job I was offered, and instead, I just straight up retired without a plan. I figured I had enough money, and so I just went for it. Man, I don't recommend this for anyone. I definitely don't recommend it. I recommend you plan it out carefully, if possible a year or two ahead of time, and know exactly what you're getting into before you take the leap. Hasty decisions, they could cost you a lot, and I'm very fortunate that it all worked out well for me. In fact, it worked out really well, but I kind of got lucky in some ways. So here are the 5 things I wish I knew before I retired. Number 1, my safe withdrawal rate. This was the biggest hurdle that I struggled with, and it caused me the most confusion. When I first checked into safe withdrawal rate, I thought 4% was the max I could withdraw. And, when I calculated up 4% of what I had saved up, I didn't have enough money to retire on. I was a little short. I could afford my bills, but not my medical insurance. So thankfully, I learned about the 5% withdrawal rate called Guyton's Guardrails, and I've been able to retire comfortably. In fact, I'm currently taking advantage of the stock market being way up, and I'm taking 6%, and I'm doing some little luxury things. So if the market changes, I can adjust and take less accordingly. My wife and I, we've lived frugally in the past, and we have no problem just cutting it back down. We have wiggle room in our budget, put it that way. So if I could tell you guys something important that I've learned about withdrawal rate, I would say there's a lot more flexibility than you may think. When you're doing those Monte Carlo simulations, and they're showing your probability of failure, and you're envisioning oh my God, this slow decline and going broke over a 20-year period because you decided to take out 5% instead of 4% or whatever. That's silly, man. When you actually live on your money, you have plenty of time. If you don't do anything stupid or catastrophic with your investments, you have plenty of time to make adjustments. You could pivot, you can adjust, and you could take less. You could get a side gig. You could do all kinds of stuff. So don't sit around worrying about your withdrawal rate. Take what you think you need to live on, as long as it's reasonable, and then keep an eye on it, and then manage it dynamically. Another thing, and this is a super important thing that I recommend, is using a bucket strategy to protect you against market volatility. One of the things that causes the Monte Carlo simulations to fail is when you're taking a bunch of money out of the stock market as it drops, and so you're burning up more and more of your shares at less and less value. If you use a bucket strategy and you keep some near-term money in money markets, you can avoid a lot of that. So those are strategies I recommend. Stay flexible and use a bucket strategy. So, I just wanted to say thank you all to my subscribers, and thanks for watching. I had a special thing happen. I just got notified by YouTube of my first payment. I haven't even looked up how much it is. It's just a small amount of money. But I just want to thank you all for following my channel and making this possible for me. I'm going to use this little bit of money for some travels I got coming up. I got some big trips planned this year, so that'll help out. Every little bit helps. So my name is Brett, and this channel is about early retirement, skills, and adventure. And thank you for following along and watching. Okay, number 2, my Social Security options. This is another big mistake I made. I was 9 years away from full retirement age, Social Security full retirement age, when I retired at 58. So I kind of planned to live off my investments for almost a decade. After that, I plan to take Social Security, like I said, at full retirement age, and I should have plenty to live on. I could, to be honest, I could probably live on my Social Security alone if I wanted to. But what I didn't realize was I'm going to get more from my Social Security than I planned on. So I was kind of sitting around worrying about how large my Social Security benefit would be. And man, that was a big waste of time worrying about it. So I'm strongly recommend to anyone who's considering retirement or getting closer to it, I'd say if you're in your 50s even, go on to the Social Security website, ssa.gov, and create a My Account and check your Social Security. See how much you're going to get if you retire early at 62, your full retirement age, which is probably like 66 or 67, or your late retirement age at 70. It's not something you want to guess about. It's something you want to have kind of locked down so you can plan all your finances accordingly. 3, the cost of healthcare insurance. Depending on what state you live in and how robust your exchange is, or how you plan to purchase medical insurance, maybe you still have a working spouse or something, it can be a significant expense. If you have to go to COBRA, it's definitely going to be a significant expense. So I purchased mine through our state exchange called Covered California, and my first year it was pretty expensive, just under $1,000 basically. And that's for me and my wife. But since I had made a lot of money the last year that I worked, I had to pay more on the exchange. This year, my second year retirement, it dropped. It dropped a lot because, now I'm basically living on about a third of that. So it's not easy to calculate because it shifts around and things like that. But it's something you need to know before you retire. So if you retire early and you're not going to get Medicare and you don't have a working spouse, probably should check with your state exchange and get an estimate on how much your healthcare insurance is going to cost. Another thing I wish I had known was my actual living expenses. I've talked about this a couple times, but it's something I want to discuss with you because I think this will help you out. But I completely underestimated how much money I would spend in retirement early on, and it caused me a lot of worry. My burn rate was high, and I was freaking out. When I created my retirement budget, I created it based on 80% of my working budget. But I ended up spending closer to 100%. And the reasons are pretty straightforward. We're traveling a lot. We're enjoying our life a lot. And we're enjoying our new freedom. We get up and we walk to breakfast. And then we go places and we buy souvenirs and things of that sort. Another big factor is inflation. When I was still working, this was before the big wave of inflation hit. And since then, the government says it went up 8%, but they're full of it. You go out to eat here at the beach, and I'll tell you what, it went up like 25%. So costs have gone way up since I was working. And so these things, I had planned on, I'm going to save all this money from commuting and work clothes and going to work and all the work expenses. But the reality is I'm spending about 100% of what I was spending before. Thankfully, none of this really mattered. We've really done well in the market. And so I just decided, I'm going to withdraw 6% right now instead of 5%. And we're still way ahead. Our investments are growing a lot. My original goal was to get around 10% in my investments and withdraw 5%. So there's a lot of wiggle room there. Withdrawing 6% when we're making 12 to 15, it's not an issue, trust me. So anyways, I don't recommend this for everyone. I recommend getting a handle on your expenses before you go into retirement. You might not have as much room for us to, in the budget. So that's my recommendation. You create a clearer budget and have a better idea of what you're going to spend. So I really want to take advantage of my go-go years, and so I'm purposely front-loading a lot of this. I'm trying to travel as much as possible, enjoy my life as much as possible while we're young and while we're healthy and mobile. To be honest, by the time we hit our slow-go years, our spending is going to drop and our income is going to go way up. We're going to start getting Medicare and Social Security and stuff. And like I said before, I could probably live on that if I really wanted to. So we're taking advantage and we're enjoying this. And the market being up really helps a lot. So one thing to be aware of is that your expenses are going to change in retirement. You can't just calculate a constant amount like you do in a Monte Carlo simulation. The first couple years, the go-go years, you're going to spend a lot more traveling and doing fun stuff. The middle years, you just kind of sit around more and you spend a lot less. You just get comfortable being at home. And then at the end, a lot of people spend retirement on healthcare or homes or something like that. So it's kind of like a smile where you spend more, then less, then more again. So keep that in mind when you're calculating your actual living expenses. It's not a constant amount. Number 5, this is a big surprise to me, but how precious time became. When I first decided to retire, I planned to semi-retire. In fact, I even said I'm semi-retiring. I was going to start a small business, pick up some project work, or do all kinds of stuff. I even took some courses and things of that sort to head in that direction. But I'll tell you what, after a couple months of freedom, I started to second guess that. And I didn't really need the money as much as I had thought. And I started to really enjoy the time. So, especially now after 18 months and I'm more confident, I just decided to relax and enjoy my retirement and not waste any money trying to chase more dollars. I think I've accomplished that mission and that goal, and I can let it go now. So the incremental amount of money I could make, it's just not worth the headache right now, and it's not worth my time and my precious freedom. So I thought I would have all day for projects and endeavors and all kinds of stuff. I thought I'd be sitting around, but instead my time's just flying by. So I've refocused my life and on my family and my retirement, and then I'm just enjoying it more. So let's wrap this up. In conclusion, I have 2 points I want to make, and they're quick ones, but the best advice I could give anyone who's recently retired or is about to retire is to plan and prepare more carefully than I did. It's not that hard to plan. It's easy to create a simple plan using something like New Retirement or some of the online calculators or even an Excel spreadsheet. And there's no excuse for skipping this step. I wish I had done it. So everything worked out fine for me, and I've wound up in much better shape than I thought, but that's lucky. So don't take that chance. Make sure you have a good plan going in. And second, another quick piece of advice I have for everyone is to make retirement your own. All the rules of thumb, they aren't cast in stone. They're just rules of thumb, right? Don't feel compelled or obligated to model your retirement after other people. Plan your retirement to support your dreams, your goals, and your finances. As much as your finances will allow, enjoy your retirement. You don't want to be sitting around, hunkering down at 4% while your portfolio just grows and grows and grows and your time is flying by. You want to be doing stuff. So the fun part of retirement, it goes by quickly, and you want to enjoy it while you're still young and healthy. At least that's my advice. Thanks everyone for coming along this week. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned a couple little nuggets of wisdom from my missteps and my misadventures in early retirement. I wish you all health, happiness, and prosperity in your lives, and I will see you next week on our next big adventure.